Hi, everyone. Welcome back to a Wellness Wednesday. I'm Sydney,
I'm Renee.
and today we're going to be talking about family relations, given that it is Thanksgiving break and more holidays are starting to come up, and we're going to be spending a lot of time with families, whatever that may look like. We just talk about that today.
So, um, my family, it is a bit complicated, and I know that your family view and your family values are also different from mine. With me, I don't necessarily value family as much as other people do. Um, it kind of sounds bad when you say it that way, but it's because of stigma. But growing up, I wasn't really close with my family. I don't really have good relationships with them. And because of that, I didn't really find the value in just hanging out with family and being grateful for Thanksgiving and gathering with everybody. Um, so that's my view of family.
Yeah, that's totally cool. For me, I think it's kind of weird because when I think about family, I do value it, but I don't think it's necessarily like a totally high value because similar to you, Ray, um I didn't spend a ton of time with my family, but I still do have like good relations with them. So it's kind of why I still value family a little bit, but I just yeah, I think just the way that I grew up, my whole family, we all just kind of did our own things. And so I just don't value it as much as I think some people might. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, family is very complicated
Mhm.
because every person has a different definition of what family is and what family looks like. But according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a family is basically a unit of people that are related to each other, and that also includes two terms that are very popular, which is nuclear family and extended family. So, nuclear family is, of course, your immediate family that you basically live with your mom, your dad, and your siblings if you have any. And then extended family, of course, everyone knows what extended family is. But for me, how my family looks like is I only have my nuclear family around me, and majority of my cousins and majority of my grandma and my grandpas are in Asia, in the Philippines. So I guess that could also contribute to the reason why I don't really have a high value in family, because I just didn't have that community growing up. And also coming from somebody that barely had a sibling late in life, I was 12 years old. Um, and I don't have any cousins. So I was basically an only child that relied on herself growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, most of actually, no, like all of my family is basically in California, but a lot of them, which is like on my dad's side, majority of them live in NorCal, and that's where a majority of my cousins are. And so I didn't really have as much like many cousins to play with or to like grow up with. I do have a twin though, so that was something that I think gave me a little bit more value in like family and being able to grow up with my brother. But yeah, but just because Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines family as like blood relation, that doesn't mean that's not what family has to only be. Family can also be just, they don't have to be blood related. It could be your friends or other communities that you have. Um, yeah, so for example, for me, other than my blood related family, I have like my church community. For example, like my grade at my church, we're all very close. We're having a Friendsgiving this Friday. We've been able to grow up together throughout high school and now into college, and we're all still able to be really close. Despite us, a lot of us who have went to college elsewhere, we're all still able to hang out, and I feel like I have that kind of family outside of my like blood related family. What about you?
I totally agree with that about friends also being part of your family. For me, because my actual family, I don't really have good relations and I don't really have a high value on them. I instead resorted to my community, which is my friends, my church, and also some of my coworkers that I've made over the years. I consider those people as my family because I've been with them through thick and thin. And they've also helped me develop in new ways and help me see different perspectives in terms with um, just open-mindedness and diversity in our community, because I didn't grow up with those mindsets with my family. And talking about um, being there through thick and thin with people, that also goes into communication from my experience with my family, particularly my mom, because my mom is the breadwinner of her family and she's in charge with everything in her household. But she has a very passive aggressive communication style where she doesn't necessarily make it known that something is bothering her, but instead she resorts to doing petty things that impact me very negatively. And it also contributes to the fact that she also has an authoritarian parenting style on me,
Mhm.
where I feel very restricted. And because of those two elements of passive aggressiveness and also authoritarian styles, it does lead to a lot of family tensions. And because of those family tensions, that is also a contributor to the reason why I don't really like being home on the holidays. And I know that a lot of my friends I made at APU are struggling with that, because a lot of people from APU come from different places of the world. And normally that means they have to go back home because they have no place to stay. So they're being, in a way, forced to stay home and put up with the things that they aren't used, like that they don't agree with, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally feel the like passive aggressive, I think communication. Like I don't want to speak for like every person who's Asian, but I feel like that's like a really common thing amongst like Asian
Yeah.
families, just like everything kind of just gets like shoved like away, pushed down, like very passive aggressive, because that's definitely like within my family. I really see that a lot, or like I'll like hear things from like one person about the other and then it's like, oh,
Mhm.
like why don't you just talk to them, but it just ends up being very like passive aggressive and just it's yeah, no, I totally feel you on that. Like it just kind of sucks because it makes you just feel really bad, but then it's like because yeah, I don't know, I feel like neither aggressive communication or passive aggressive would make you feel good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally feel you on that.
Mhm. And then also talking about communication, the communication that I get from family is very different from friends.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure how it is with other Asian like households, but with me, my family is very introverted and also independent. So because of those two factors, they don't really like talking about their emotions and they don't like apologizing, especially. And because they don't like talking about their emotions and don't like apologizing, we are expected to just get over certain conflicts. And of course, that's not how things usually run, because nothing ever gets resolved. And because of the outlet that I can't really rely on my parents with helping me in terms of my emotional state with stress, for example, at school, I rely on my friends. And just having friends as an outlet to help see empathy and also show compassion, it's very valuable for me.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I've definitely seen that amongst my friends too. It's definitely a lot different, but then I also feel like it's also still similar too sometimes because I feel like some of my friends can like I've experienced in the past like just passive aggressiveness also from them, but then I think also because like while their parents might be like first generation or something, like they grew like my friends are like ones who grew up here, and so they have like a little bit more, I think, Americanized like viewpoints, and so it's definitely a little bit easier to communicate with them, and maybe a little less like tension, I guess, not conflict, because there's still be conflict, but I think less tension because we're able to just more directly talk about like what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I would, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. And then speaking of Thanksgiving, also, for me, the way that my family looks like, it's very awkward. And I wouldn't really say that we do anything, to be honest. We just eat and then we go about our regular day, and we try not to go in each other's ways, which is, that's normal for me. And it's surprising to hear how not normal it is for other types of cultures and different households.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been interesting because in the past, like pre-COVID, we would like always have like other families' houses that we would go to and things like that. But like since COVID, I've noticed it's very interesting since my families, we're all pretty like independent, like family dinners, like that's not a thing. Like we don't like I've like heard like my other friends say like, yeah, we have like that, like they're like, oh yeah, we have like dinner tonight, like, or I have to eat with my family. Growing up, that was always like the weirdest thing to me because that just, I never had that. And so even with like holidays when we were in COVID and like we we had like Thanksgiving with just like my immediate family, it was like kind of weird because it was like forcing all of us to like kind of adjust our schedules so that we could just have a meal together. It was, yeah, kind of like yours, like it was very awkward, but that's just recently though. So yeah, I don't know. Other for yeah, that's for like Thanksgiving, but for like Christmas, my family usually hosts like the rest of our family like at my house, and that's always um very interesting because I feel like it's just a whole nother thing to be like the house that's like hosting everyone, and the tensions that that could create, and just having to talk to relatives about things. Yeah, and like I think as I've grown up, I've also realized just how different viewpoints like are included within my family, and how like it's kind of shocking, I guess, to realize that, and then to also to be able to be more aware of like the slight tensions or like just slight like remarks people might make, and seeing that and just feeling that really odd tension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I experienced, I don't know, I can't remember a time where I just felt really comfortable with my family. Because yeah, like awkwardness is a huge factor. But it's also just the fact that I can't really be myself completely, because I feel like I have to be a different person and have to follow their image of who Renee is to them. And I it just doesn't sit right with me, because family should be a group of people that accept you for who you are, and also is willing to work with you and also grow with you. But lately it's been feeling like, for me, I'm the only one that's trying to grow, if that makes sense. So like it's complicated, it's hard, and that's why I make friends with people that helped me realize that, yeah, that's not how family is supposed to look like.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I think it's just been, yeah, interesting. Like I think like I feel like the last time I've actually felt like comfortable with my own like actual like family, I think was honestly like when I was a kid, because I was less aware of like everything going on around me. But I think, yeah, as I've grown up, I've seen that while there are like also good things, I've also been able to become more aware of the faults within my family. And I definitely, yeah, same as you, like have been able to find friends and through their families or just friendships with like the friends that I've had, being able to really just see more of what yeah, like you said, like what a family would look like. And yeah, and I feel like that's so like that sounds really odd to be like, yeah, like comparing like my own family to like other people's families or things like that. But I think it's, you know, while there are faults, there are also still a lot of good things that I've been also able to learn about my family through just kind of getting to know my own friends and their families.
Yeah. With me, I'm still trying to come into terms with that because as I was growing up, I saw a lot of faults with my parents and it I just couldn't accept it. But because I am an adult now and I'm eventually going to graduate
Mm,
and be on my own to the point where I won't be relying on my parents anymore, I it made me realize that we are all human and we're not perfect. But also it's okay to not forgive in a way because of the trauma it led you um, to have. And then also because it's you, like
mhm,
it's what you want to do essentially, which is you choose who you want to be in your life. And society may not say that it's not normal to not like your family or it's not normal to not fully forgive someone, but it is. You're human.
mhm.
It takes a while to forgive someone. It takes a while to just appreciate the people around you. And for me, yeah, I don't really like my family necessarily, but I know that they're trying their best in communicating with me. And also, they did make me become the person I am today. And for that, I am grateful because we've helped people. We may not think that like we've helped people in the past, but we do have an impact in people's lives.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, no, that was really cool to hear. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's so true because, and I feel like it's also just a lot harder because of the fact that it's family to like come to terms with like realizing that you may not necessarily like them because they're the people that like society tells you that are the ones that you're supposed to love, that would love you the most, and
Mhm.
that, should be your support group. But like that's, yeah, like you said, that's not necessarily true. And it's something that I feel like is definitely not talked about enough, but I think happens a lot. And yeah, it's a very interesting thing to think about. But yeah, I think definitely, yeah, coming to terms with that and just like I think also you sharing that is awesome because it helps, I think, other people to know like, oh, okay, like so it's not like that weird to maybe
Mhm.
necessarily not like your family that much, like yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was really cool.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know, like at APU, I feel like whenever I don't know about you, but since I know that both of us are psychology students, but I've taken psychology of the family, which is a course given at APU. And I remember there were like a couple of times where we had to talk about our family, and all I would hear in the class would be how much they love their family and how much, like, how supportive their parents are and how just comfortable they are with communicating and talking about their emotions. And while I was sitting in that class, I was just thinking, do I tell the truth? So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to admit things like that. But I think that's the problem in society. We really have to make it normalized
Hmm.
with the fact that it's okay. It's okay if you don't like your family.
Yeah.
It's okay if you consider your friends as family.
Hmm. Yeah, I think what it comes down to is not like necessarily like what like who your family is, but that you have family, that you have people who have got your back, people who you can go to in like times of happiness, times of like struggling. Like it's just you have people. Like I think that's just what
Mhm.
matters the most, not who it is, but that you have them.
Mhm. Yeah, the main thing that I wanted to point out with this Wellness Wednesday is that family isn't just people that you're related to, but family is who you choose to be in your life. Family is a group of people that you consider people that support you, that are there for you when you need, and are also people that you wholeheartedly love.
Mm.
So
Yeah. 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 So thank you guys for listening to our Wellness Wednesday, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
mhm.